So, you want to build a pond. Maybe it's for your backyard, maybe for your garden, or maybe you just love the idea of water, fish, and that calm feeling when you sit beside it. Sounds easy, right? Dig a hole, fill it with water, maybe throw in some plants and fish, done. Well, not exactly. A lot of people get super excited about building a pond, and then after a few weeks or months, they realize things aren't going as planned. The water looks bad, the fish are stressed, or the whole thing just doesn't feel right. That's why today I want to talk about pond building mistakes, the kind of mistakes that many beginners make, and sometimes even people with experience. I'll also share how to avoid them, so your pond doesn't turn into a swampy nightmare. Mistake 1. Building too small. This is probably the number one mistake. People think, oh, I'll just make a little pond, maybe a few feet wide. It'll be enough. But here's the thing. Once you add water, plants, and fish, you'll always wish it was bigger. Fish need space to grow. Water needs volume to stay balanced, and small ponds heat up and cool down way too fast. So if you're digging, always go a little bigger than you think. Trust me, almost everyone who has built a pond says, I wish I had made it bigger from the start. Mistake 2. Wrong location. Another classic mistake is putting the pond in the wrong spot. People dig right under a big tree because it looks nice with shade, or right in the middle of the lawn because it's easy to see. But then the leaves start falling, filling the water, creating a mess. Or the pond gets too much sunlight all day and algae grows like crazy. The best location is somewhere with partial sun, partial shade. Not under a tree that drops tons of leaves, and not in a place where your pond gets blasted by the sun for 10 hours. Balance is everything. Mistake 3. Bad liner choice. You dig a hole and then you think, okay, I'll just use some plastic sheet from the garage. Sounds cheap and easy, but in a few months that thing rips, leaks, and suddenly your pond is empty. Pond liners are super important. They hold all the water, and if you don't choose the right one, you're going to have a disaster. Get a proper pond liner, something designed for this job. It might cost a bit more upfront, but it saves you from rebuilding the whole pond later. Mistake 4. No filtration. Here's the harsh truth. Water doesn't stay clean by itself when you've got fish, plants, and sunlight. A lot of people build a pond, skip the filter, and then wonder why the water turns green. A filter keeps the water moving, keeps it oxygenated, and removes waste. Without it, the pond becomes a stinky soup. Even a small pond needs a pump and filter system. Think of it like the pond's lungs. Without air and movement, everything suffocates. Mistake 5. Overstocking with fish. This one happens all the time. Someone builds a nice little pond, and then they go to the store and buy way too many fish. They put in 20 goldfish or 10 koi, and in a month, the pond looks like it's about to explode. Fish grow fast, and they produce a lot of waste. If your pond is small, it just can't handle too many. Start with just a few. Let the pond balance itself. You can always add more later, but it's a nightmare trying to fix an overstocked pond. Mistake 6. Forgetting about depth. Some people build ponds that are just one shallow hole, maybe 1 foot deep. The problem? Fish need deeper water to survive, especially in hot summers or cold winters. Shallow water gets hot fast, cold fast, and offers no safe place for fish to hide from predators. If you're keeping fish, go at least 2 to 3 feet deep in some spots. That gives the fish room to swim, hide, and stay safe when temperatures change. Mistake 7. Ignoring maintenance. A pond isn't a build-it-and-forget-it project. You need to check the water, clean the filter, remove dead leaves, and keep an eye on the fish. Some people think nature will take care of it. Sure, nature helps, but in a backyard pond, you are the caretaker. If you ignore it, algae takes over, the water turns nasty, and your fish won't be happy. Make it part of your routine. Just a little bit of care goes a long way. Mistake 8. Wrong plant choices. Plants are amazing for ponds. They give oxygen, shade, and help balance the water. But if you throw in random plants without knowing what they do, things can get out of control. Some plants spread too fast and take over, some don't survive at all. Do a little research. Choose floating plants like water lilies, oxygenating plants, and maybe some marginals around the edge. Think of plants as natural helpers, but choose wisely. Mistake 9. Not planning for wildlife. When you build a pond, it doesn't just attract you, it attracts nature. Frogs, birds, insects, maybe even raccoons if you live in the right place. Some people don't think about this and then panic when they see new visitors, but wildlife is part of the fun. Just plan for it. Make sure your fish have hiding spots, maybe add some rocks or a small net if predators are a problem. The pond is part of the ecosystem, and you're basically inviting nature to your yard. Mistake 10. No long-term vision. The last big mistake, not thinking about the future. Ponds grow, plants spread, fish get bigger, and you might want to expand. So if you build without a long-term plan, you'll be tearing it apart in a year. So before you start, imagine what it'll look like in 5 years. Bigger fish, fuller plants, maybe a little waterfall. Plan now. Save yourself a rebuild later. Wrapping it up. Building a pond is honestly one of the most rewarding projects you can do. Water changes the whole feeling of a garden. It brings life, calmness, and beauty, but only if you avoid these common mistakes. Go bigger than you think. Pick the right spot. Use a proper liner. Don't skip the filter. Add fish slowly. Give them depth. Do the maintenance. Choose smart plants. Expect wildlife. And always think about the future. Do that, and instead of a headache, you'll have your own little paradise right outside your door. So, if you're planning your pond right now, take these tips, keep them in mind, and you'll avoid the most painful lessons. And when you're sitting beside clear water, watching the fish swim lazily under the lilies, you'll be glad you did it right from the start.